Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Above Ground Radio. It has been a while, but I'm back doing another episode, and I have a special guest.
It's me.
Yeah, it's him. It's Engine, and we're going to talk more about his album that is coming out and the other stuff that he's doing in a minute. But first, we have Aberrance 54 with 6B.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the submission. That is not at all what I thought it was going to be from the links. That I don't know if I thought what I thought that was going to be. For some reason, I thought it was going to be lo-fi. I thought it was a different file entirely. So I was very surprised. I liked it a
Sound
lot.
real cool.
Yeah, those drums were very nice. The progression was interesting.
It's very,
Um,
very, very crunchy.
yeah, there's a ton up in the high end, and my headset that I'm using right now um, has a particularly aggressive high end, so it's not too kind to things like that. But I bet on a set of speakers that would sound a lot better. But I really like
It
the
looks really,
track.
really well written. I think a little bit of a variation would be should be looked into, but other than that, it's a pretty solid song. Much better mixing than anything I can do.
Yeah, the mixing is really great. Honestly, like
Yeah.
you only have a minute 50. You come up with another variation, you could have something twice as long. I think if this middle section here is A B, then you have like two really similar things, A B, and then you have a variation of that that goes A B. You got like I don't know, 3 minutes, maybe four, probably more if you're Engine. Speaking of which, good transition. Thank you. Okay. uh, your album, your four-part album, is slowly. Actually, not slowly. I take that back. Slowly in anticipation, but it's surprisingly very quick with how much music you put out. It's insane.
Do put out music really quickly. I kind of wish that I could be quicker with the actual album stuff I'm making because I'm slacking on that while just pumping out random shit on the corner.
But you just it didn't. Wasn't it like 3 weeks ago that the second part came out?
Yeah, and I'm due in 10 days to do the third one.
Yeah, but what the second part? How long was the second part? Wasn't it like 40 minutes, something like that?
I think it's like 20, 30 minutes per part.
That's still insane. I had like my album was like almost 45, but it was in terms of material it should have been. I think it was closer to 40. I think there was 5 minutes I could have cut off, but that took me months. it's that's insane. I don't know how you can do it.
I just
Impressive.
wanna tell a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I am telling a story.
What's the idea for the 4 parts going to look like when it's all finished?
Essentially, the story is pre-told, but I'm intentionally leaving it very vague and sort of ambiguous to let the listener make up their own narrative, but there are key points which funnel along a certain point, sort of like a game with its design, like
Mm-hmm.
getting you into a certain direction.
Yeah, like emotionally moving throughout the album.
Yeah. It's like part one essentially was the tutorial and like just establishing a bunch of things. Part two is very, very just more vague and fun, but it still has some little things like I sing like a billion quotations on sing my own lyrics, which summarize the entire plot
That's
in
crazy.
Origin. Yeah.
That's the amount of detail that goes into your music. If you could see what my 6 months of album work was, you'd be very disappointed in me. Like I've seen the
Yeah.
layers. I use. I'm a very. I don't think it's any worse, but I'm a very minimalistic. I tend to use very few
Less is
layers.
more like I always overcomplicate shit when I gotta make it minimal, and like always just comes out super duper messy and noisy, and just
Yeah,
becomes a completely different song.
I used to do a whole bunch. I just couldn't mix that much stuff. Like I remember the best piece of mixing advice I ever got was when I took a private lesson over Skype with Seamless R, but it's silent, so I can't say that. But he said something to the effect of, "Well, any tracks is easy to mix if you only have like 5 channels." And I'm like, "Oh well, yeah, of course." I don't know why I never really thought about it that way. And I'm like, "Well, what can I get out of 5 channels?" That's the other thing too. Is like if I have a lot of options, it's harder to choose. But if I only have 5 channels, it's like, okay, well, how much can I get out of these five? You know?
Yeah, just I don't know. I just like to dart around and do whatever the fuck my brain and hands do.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and it usually leaves me like going into like just completely different genres mid thing, like ADHD sounding shit.
That's
Yeah.
that's I have that same tendency when I'm like playing keyboard or whatever, but I can't like write fast enough to do that. Sometimes I'll get on a roll, but anyway, we do have to move on to the next track.
Yeah.
We have Dark Sweet, My Funky House, Dan Brazier remix. And before we start this looks really quiet, by the way, so I'm gonna probably have to end up turning this up. But yeah, this mix looks really quiet. Jesus. Um, Before we get started, remember that everybody here has their own work that they're doing. All 4 of these people,
Make sure you
and
check these guys out and
yeah,
like when you finish watching, give them some support.
please do. It really helps because we don't have anything. We're just we
We
just
have our
sit at
music
home
and stuff.
and we just click buttons until it sounds good.
We
And
make fun of popular people.
so anyway, Dan Brazier remix of My Funky House.
Let's go.
Thank you very much for that submission. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna do a tiny bit of feedback because you did tell me that it was old a couple of years, so I know you're not going around changing anything, but I still wanted to give a little bit of feedback. The only thing that I really think needs to be changed is your main bass line seems to have some portamento on it, and the portamento moves a little bit too slowly because your bass line is moving pretty quick, but the portamento is moving so slowly that by the time you're moving notes, it's barely caught up. So it just feels like it's constantly a little bit out of tune. So I think adjusting that portamento time. But other than that, it sounds really good. I'm
Topic
yeah.
of like the musical topic that sounds really good. Uh, the song, it's pretty long. The whole structure, especially the breakdown, I love that bit. But I think some bits are like stretched a lot and could be
agree.
compressed a bit. But other than that, it's pretty solid. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the intro and the outro could be a little bit shorter. I think the slow breakdown works really well. And I get that the kind of intro and outro too are also there for the fucking lazy ass DJs. They're like, yeah, give me 64 bars of the same thing over and over again so I don't have to loop it, please. Thank you. I don't know why I'm taking a shot
Guess
there.
that's-
I don't know. That's what I've always assumed, because a lot of house songs have those sort of DJ intros where they have the four on the floor, so it's easy to find the rhythm at the beginning of the track. I always assumed that's what that's for. I don't know. I might be wrong. If you know, please tell me. Okay, well, with that, we're going to move on to You're Going to Love Me by Eliminate, the Nephilim remix. This one is a very good one. I have this on my personal playlist.
Here we go.
You're gonna love me, yeah, you better love me. You're gonna love me, yeah, you better. Fuck me, don't fight me, yeah, fuck me, don't fight me. You're gonna love me. You said you would never leave me. I can't see your colors bleeding. Believe me, yeah, you better love me. You're gonna love me, yeah, you better love me. You're gonna love me, yeah, you better. Fuck me, don't fight me, yeah, fuck me, don't fight me. You're gonna love me. You said you would never leave me. You're gonna love me, yeah, you better love me. I can't see your colors bleeding. Fuck me, don't fight me, yeah, you're gonna love me. Yeah, you better love me. Yeah, you better love me. Yeah, you better love me. Yeah, you better
What an amazing submission. Thank you very much. What did you think? What?
That was really well done.
I agree. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. Well, first, I like all the glitches and stuff. Especially some of the stuff in here, in the breakdown section, with the little bass thing too. That was awesome. And oh yeah, and these three. I don't know what the fuck it was, but looking at it on the spectrum analyzer, it looked like completely different frequency content. So, sick shit. With the background noise going throughout the whole thing. The only possible issue I could see, and this was something I was partially seeing on the stereo imager, and partially hearing. It sounds like there's not a strong mono presence in the vocal, so I don't know if it'll sound good in mono. I don't know. You know what? Actually, we'll find out right this exact second. Let's just go to mono and see how it sounds. And okay, sounds fine. Yeah, never mind. So it's good track. Sounds great.
Flaws. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone stop making music. This is it.
Yeah, we move on. Yeah, I honestly great remix. I don't know if there was a contest or if you entered it, but you should, because that's good. That's some fire shit. The bass line, I loved seeing in the engine. Unfortunately, you can't see on the analyzer, but you can see the bass, like the sub part of the Reese, holding constant on the note, but then the higher frequency content above it, in the low mids or whatever, you can see that changing as the filters move around or whatever. And it's not like a predictable moving thing, it's just constantly just moving around all over the place. And it looks and sounds very interesting. Great track.
Reminds me of some polychrome stuff by Cone Sound. But yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, this one looks a little bit louder. I'm going to just turn it down a tiny bit. Well, let's see first. Yes, that is a little loud, so we're going to turn that down. Okay. So here we go is our last song, short one. We got Powerful by Critizen. Thank you for the submission, Critizen.
Yeah, thanks for it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I like the melody you got there.
Yeah, me too. I think the melody's pretty good.
Reminds me a lot of Sega Genesis Mega Drive stuff. Very video gamey.
Yeah, it really does sound very video gamey. I think you need a little bit of dynamic range in here, honestly, because if you look at the waveform, there's not that much rhythm that you can see. Ooh. And I think that's mostly because you don't have your other instruments sidechained to your drums. So when your drums are hitting, it's just even louder on top of the instruments. But if you have all the instruments ducked down, when the drums hit, then you get this kind of back and forth call and response rhythm, which I think will make your mix sound a lot better and really make the track just because I think it's a good song. It just needs some mixing so you can hear the good song better. That's sort of how I think about it.
Some levels I would recommend you like just have a little look at and peek at. Change the panning too to just like balance it out and get some sounds to the left and right.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But other than that, yeah, it's really good.
Oh, and the other thing was I was noticing that up here, there seems to be a steep drop off at like 15,000. It seems like it's, I don't know, because MP3 is usually around 17,000. That seems, I don't know, most MP3s that I've seen, I'm not very knowledgeable on the subject, but maybe if you're doing a high cut, low cut on your master, that might be too high on the high, or too low on the high cut. I would recommend everything above like 17,500, but above 15,000, 15 to 17, you still need some of that. That is, but I think above 17 you can get rid of. But do you have anything else you want to say on the track?
I think I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think I noticed some like FM, definitely some Yamaha, Sega chip sounding stuff in there. Like it definitely sounds like a whatever that thing was. The was it DX7? Was that it?
Yeah, I believe. I don't.
Yeah, it
I-
definitely sounds like
that's-
something like that.
that's not really my area, but that is. I've
But
heard.
it sounds something like that in there.
It's a good track though. Honestly, all of these are very good. There's like we got a good set this week. I'm very happy with it. We're packing.
Yeah,
So,
well done, kids. I'm proud of you.
Be sure to check out
Proud.
everyone in the description. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.